Hi guys and welcome to Razon.com. This is Mohit Soni. What you're looking at is the Royal Enfield Gorilla 450, a brand new model on the 450cc platform. This is the second model. The first model was of course the Himalayan 450, which I rode, but surprisingly I did not get enough time with the bike where I could review it. But I had spent time with it a couple of days after a few months of the launch to remember exactly what are the differences and how is this second bike on the same platform performing like. This is the roadster version. You can call it a bit of scrambler as well in the way it looks, because it has its design cues very similar to the international specs scramblers that we see from bigger motorcycling manufacturers. At the same time, it is also a roadster because it's got 17-inch wheels on both sides, and this is somewhere you can put them in between. Then you see there are of course these knobbed tires, but then again they also hint at the fact that it could do a bit of off-road. How does all of that translate to the road? I'll tell you while riding. Right now, as always, let's get into the design, where you can see you get the typical Royal Enfield round shape LED lights here, and the lights are good enough. You get LED indicators as well. At the side is where the design speaks for itself. Well, almost, because the tank is quite long, but it isn't big. It's 11 liters, unlike the Himalayan 17 liters. And you've got a similar exhaust as the Himalayan. The 17-inch wheels look quite beefy because the tires at the front and the back both are very beefy. This is a 160 section tire and that's a 120. So that's also one of the reasons why it's giving out a very international spec look than any other Royal Enfield that has come to the market since 2020, since the brand has gone berserk in terms of launching products one after the other on the 350 and 450cc platforms. Very scrambler-ish tailpiece, very basic grab handles, a really nice seat. The seat seems to be very well scooped out. I am a larger rider, as you see all the time, and this seat is quite big, quite comfortable for me. It will be great for normal riders. How does it pan out on a longer ride? This seat seems to be on the softer side, so right now I've been limited my tests to the city and intercity highway, and I see myself being comfortable, because in the last 2 days of riding this, over a couple of hours, 3-4 hours riding in the city, I had just about a very minimum amount of ache at the back. That's about it. The tank looks quite nice. This obviously I forgot to show you or tell you the fact that this color actually looks really good. The black and the purple and the yellow. Somehow we've never seen something like this before, and it's doing really well. These are I sort of, like you dream of certain colors, and on a motorcycle someday you see it. This is one of those days for me. I'm still not sure how it's going to look like, but it definitely looks very striking, very different. The switch gear also has been revised a little bit. So you see this button here, and you've got a hazard light warning light here. And let me just show you, this is the meter that is borrowed from the Himalayan, but it says Gorilla. And the screen does look quite nice. On the Himalayan, for some reason it felt smaller. Here it looks bigger because of the way it's mounted. And there is a tripper that also comes here with the smaller lower variants, but this one has integrated into it navigation. The Himalayan navigation conundrum, where you have to keep your phone on all the time, and then only the maps will be navigated. That seems to be an issue, but there is integration of offline maps now, which should be easier for your everyday duties. This is the button, that small stick here controls everything. So as you can see, I'm going down. I can see fuel range, fuel consumption, voltage, engine temperature, and everything else. This mode button here changes between two riding modes that it has: ABS and Eco and Performance, along with ABS on and off. Levers are not adjustable, surprisingly, on this bike, and that is what the instrument cluster and the switch gear and the design and the seat and how all of this looks like. Of course, you also must have noticed, but the USD forks have been replaced with the normal sided forks, which is very surprising. This could have been much more sportier, and because the chassis can support a bit of sportiness, but then again, removing the forks, I'm sure, is being done for a very conscious price decision that Royal Enfield has made with this one. We'll discuss that also in a bit. Right now, this is what the bike is. The quality seems quite good, fit finish seems quite nice. There is again room for a bit of improvement, but then again, the pricing that it comes at makes us realize that the quality and fit finish seems on par. But again, if Royal Enfield has come so ahead, they're very close to getting nearly 100% out, 10 out of 10 in terms of quality as well. So we'll wait for another motorcycle. Right now, 8 out of 10 in terms of fit finish, build quality, design. What do you think? You let me know with this color scheme or with other schemes which are also quite radical. The blue and white and the black, red and yellow are also on offer. This seems to be the hero color for the brand. Let me know what you think. Like, now let's jump to the riding part and see what it is all about. So what is the Gorilla 450 like to ride? Well, Royal Enfield's brand new 450cc platform has churned out motorcycle number 2, and it has striked a lot of interest in the market, because this is not your typical ADV bike. It's a roadster bike, and that actually puts Royal Enfield in a spot where it has to truly deliver, because let's face it, adventure motorcycling market is there, but the roadster will always be there in the Indian market, because there are people who buy motorcycles for lifestyle, for everyday commute, and for that aspect the roadsters always make a lot of sense because of the comfort and they offers. So with the 450, the ergonomics are pretty good. You've got rear set foot pegs, your tank pretty much grip the tank, your legs grip the tank quite easily, and you've got a very comfortable yet sporty riding position because the handlebar reach is slightly higher. So you're getting that sporty riding position, you are comfortable as well. And then when you start riding, you realize that this is a different Royal Enfield, because it doesn't have that low end torque that you expect from it. I found myself either downshifting or clutch slipping in Mumbai traffic, because below 2000 rpm it doesn't really have that torque. But because it's a fast revving motor, it's a free revving motor, it has a lot of mid-range power and torque, and it just, once it reaches 2000 rpm, it rushes to 3000 rpm, and then from 3000 to 7000 rpm, it's got a lot of power and torque to play with. And when you open the throttle, either when you downshift or when your revs match, it will put a smile on your face, because the way it rushes ahead with the 40 PS and 40 Newton meters of torque, it is class leading torque, even if it's not class leading power at 40 PS, because the KTMs make 45, and that makes the bike a very good, very fun to ride motorcycle. I'll tell you, there are multiple reasons still for it, and it's the engine which feels quite smooth, quite refined, a bit of vibration, that's about it, not much, totally negligible. You'll even despite the fact that it was a brand new motorcycle, we ran in the motorcycle, we got the motorcycle at 3 kilometers, we put in almost 150 kilometers on it, and we did some fast riding, and realized that despite all of that, the vibrations are bare minimum. So post first service, it should get even better as well. The gearbox, that's where I think it could have been better. It felt a bit notchy at times, it felt a little hard on the upshifts and downshifts, but then again, I have to give the benefit of doubt, because once the first service is done, I'm pretty sure that the gearbox will behave better. But then again, Royal Enfield has put us in a spot where a brand new motorcycle comes in, and it's not even running. Our impressions are become a little bit on the dicier side, because it's a brand new motorcycle. After all, the motorcycles behave best when they are first service, but here, because I've experienced the 450cc earlier, because I know for a fact that this motor has been pretty much excellent in every area, I am going to give the benefit of doubt to the Gorilla 450. The clutch is light, the brakes are good enough on this, and it makes it for an easy riding bike in the city. The U-turn radius is a little bit higher because it's got a long wheelbase, and that's the reason why while riding in the city, a congested city like Mumbai, when you're taking a lot of turns to cut traffic, you will realize the wheelbase is a little longer. You might have to turn in earlier, you'll have to give the gas a little bit earlier to make sure that you are weaving through traffic quite easily. And that is one of the reasons why when you do that, and when you find corners, you will realize that it's really stable in the corners, it's really stable in the straight line, because of the long wheelbase, and also because something Royal Enfield has done differently. 120 section tires at the front, 160 at the back, give it enormous grip, give it that old school super stable feel that you get from this motorcycle, is again very enticing to me, because I have seen that motorcycles in the past. When I get on board this motorcycle, I realize that it's really great to see that somehow or the other Royal Enfield is maintaining that charm, and I'm really impressed on how this very small factor gives it that old school feel, how that old school yet BS6 compliant motor, works really well. Everything just falls together really well in the Gorilla 450, and that is why I'm really impressed with this motorcycle. Roadsters do charm me quite a bit, and this, with this old school feeling, I am really impressed. I love all the roadster motorcycles, but this one will definitely be on the top of my mind for a very long time. It's also because it is agile. Despite the setup, it could have been, of course, much more agile, but again, Royal Enfield is trying to keep things comfortable and old school and give you that raw, robust, stable feel. And that's one of the reasons why, even if the suspension is stiff at both ends, it gives you a very good ride quality, one of the most mature ride qualities you can come across in this segment, because of the fat tires, the way the suspension has been stiffened, it just feels absolutely right. Very sporty yet very comfortable. You do not need to slow down for anything. Then you have the additional grip from the knob tires, which make a lot of sense. And again, the riding aspect just becomes spectacular. Royal Enfield, I think, has put in a lot of attention to detail in how it rides, and I wasn't impressed much with the Himalayan because of obvious reasons, but then the Gorilla has shown me that the roadster aspect is done right, in the right way, and in the old school way, and how probably Royal Enfield does most of their motorcycles right. So clearly impressed with that. The handling also feels very good. It's poised in the corners, it gets into corners also quite quickly, although it could have been a bit more better, but then again, it would have not gotten the high speed stability and the confidence that you get while riding at high speeds. You would have not gotten that. So everything comes together quite well in a very Royal Enfield old fashioned way, and yet it is very modern and very easy to live with on a daily basis. That's what makes the Gorilla very special. I just think a lot of people will take a lot of time to realize this, but if you are watching or hearing this review, be assured that this is how exactly it's going to behave, and as this is a motorcycle that you will grow old with and realize that this is something that will never get out of fashion, the kind of balance that you have with this one. So it's an amazing motorcycle in that aspect. A lot of people are not going to realize this, and that is my doubt, but from my end, the Gorilla 450 fits just right. The fuel efficiency also is quite right, and around the 24 to 26 kilometers per liter. So I think that makes it quite efficient in this segment, but I think there are other bikes in this segment which deliver quite a lot. But then again, we were riding a motorcycle which is brand new, and on the highway the fuel efficiency numbers almost reached up to 34, which also is a very good number. So even the fuel efficiency part for a performance motorcycle I mentioned in the last, because it is sort of necessary, because it has only a 11 liter fuel tank, and that limits its range. But then again, roadsters are meant to be within the city, on the intercity highways, and for your weekend rides. They're not for crossing states in one day, and doing the 500 700 kilometers plus. This will do 300 400, will keep you comfortable, will keep you entertained, and at a price which is quite good, not really tempting for what it offers. I think the Gorilla comes across as a motorcycle that will appeal to a very special bunch of audience. The others will realize slowly and steadily how it fits them, and when they get it, they will age old with this motorcycle very well. I think that's how I sum up the Gorilla 450. I really enjoyed my experience. I hope you like this review as well. If you still have some questions or comments, leave them in the comment section below. Subscribe, follow us for everyday updates on our website and social media channels. Until then, goodbye.